Hello. All right. We're good. Welcome, everybody, to my desktop. Happy Tuesday. It's Steve from Trade Ideas. What's up, Patrick? And how come you take these freaking miners home and they just won't follow through? I mean, if I just know any better, I just sell them on the open, like CDE. AG was just a mess. It is so hard for me to trade silver. Of course, I'm not in it, and now it looks great. But anyway, there's the story, Patrick. I am in Tesla, the trade of the week, still from actually Friday, down here at 241. I might have to hang on to this one. But anyway, welcome, people, as you join. I'm going to handle the 1 hour Trade Ideas live session today. I'll be gone the rest of the week, starting tomorrow. I'm going to go see Brian Shannon in Colorado and do some skiing. Looking at gold and silver. Anyway, let's look at the market real quick. This is what I normally do as people file in. A couple thoughts. Very oversold gap on Monday. Yesterday, some might even call that a pro gap. I would call it a pro gap because it's still holding. What a pro gap is when you've got an intermediate downtrend, like we certainly had here over the course of 2 months, and then all of a sudden, you wake up one day and there's a gap in the opposite direction. So everybody who's short here has to start covering. So you get these just bid markets, and we're just kind of hanging on to a solid bid market, something that the market did not have the last few weeks. The bids were just dropping like flies, but now all of a sudden, I think the oversold players are popping in here. But I try to bring a lot of things home overnight, and they just didn't go higher. And I reminded myself, we've got this ETF kind of thing called MAGS, the Magnificent Seven. I don't even know which ones make them up. I'm going to, guess Google, Amazon, Apple, Tesla, NVIDIA. I don't know. But look at how MAGS, this ETF of the 7 big cap, likely tech stocks, they're doing just fine. But, if you're trying to play some of these things that were hot, like QMCO or NNE, or things that I was trying to play, NBIS, you got run over today. So, that's an interesting story. Thank you, Pepe. Appreciate that. The market today is a MAGS-driven market on this oversold bounce. A lot of the things I was in just couldn't get going. Now, I am in RUM. I waited for RUM to post earnings this morning, and solid buy the 200 flat, big. Same as Tesla. The Tesla and RUM. Well, Tesla is a weekly, but let me verify that. I go to the weekly, and Tesla, it was sitting on the 200-week moving average. But back to RUM, it was just skipping across this moving average. I knew we had earnings coming up. I wasn't going to gamble into earnings. Crazy morning if you look at the pre-market. So this thing's been all over the place since earnings, but it's kind of trending higher. So I'm in 2 positions, and 2 positions only. That's all I've got left. I got stopped out of a lot of things this morning. As I mentioned, as the market lifted higher, a lot of the stuff I was in didn't go. Gotti didn't go. Qubit didn't go. So I tried to play some of the old favorites. But that's the real takeaway for me. I like to get a flavor for what's going on in the market. Now, Andy pointed out to me, XHB, that people are buying home builders today, okay, and maybe buying steel. Interesting. But nonetheless, let's go back to the quickly SPYs and Qs. All right, the SPYs are, they closed yesterday at their 200. We're trading just above the 200 in the SPY. That's a good thing. However, we're drifting here below our intraday momentum line, so we might be ready to give some back. And what that means is the stuff that I was in and the stuff that you might be in, the bids just drop out of space. unless you're in the big magnificent seven. I think this is a real big story here today, just at least for me. But a day and a half of solid oversold bounce. We're kind of running into 200-day perfectly here in the NASDAQ. So I think the biggest move was the yesterday's pro gap. Caught a lot of people by surprise. And the shorts are just probably trying to bid their way out of their short positions. People that maybe want to go long some things are trying, as I did. But I was quickly shown the door that, quant stocks aren't working at the moment. Nano nukes aren't really following the market at the moment. So I'm in Tesla and I'm in Rump. And those are the only two positions I have, which brings me to a good point. Again, like I said, I'm leaving town tomorrow. I'll be gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's 5 days, including the weekend. I don't need a giant portfolio. I'm a swing trader. I want to enjoy my ski trip. So the only thing I'm taking home is going to be one of these two things, if any, and they better show me some real solid strength into the close for me to take them home. And that's my opening sermon for Swing Trading Steve. Whatever you guys want to talk about. And of course, as usual, if somebody is a new user of Trade Ideas and you've been sent here by the support staff, please, pop in the chat. Don't be shy and ask away of what you need, what you're looking for from Trade Ideas. I just finished a small project. I gave Brad a couple of scans. Let's do this real quick. So the new GPT, if you don't know, we've got this nice chat GPT on our homepage. You can ask the questions. I was tasked to create a few common questions and common how do I kind of things. So this is one of them. I said, create a scan to find momentum. Okay, well, here's the reply from GPT. This is the momentum scan link. I can click that, or I can just right click and save me. Click, copy link address. And it's a scan. So we're going to go new alert scan, the new alert window. And there it is. Bang. So coming soon, the reason Brad tasked me with that project is the configure window in these scans, alerts, and top list windows will soon have a new button. We're going to use GPT. We're going to have a GPT window that'll pop open and spawn a nice new fresh clean window to try and help people configure. So, what I was doing was I was giving him a 4-button head start, just as you've seen in some AIs, they've got like suggested, starts, queries to start the conversation. So that's coming soon. Just out of curiosity, what did the AI build us here? Well, obviously it's a new high. Okay. Oh, 5-minute volume is 1,000%. So solid volume, momentum, relative volume up 1% and making new highs. Well, great. There's a momentum scan, CX. That was the last one that came through, apparently. If you just joined, again, I'm just kind of popping through our new Chat GPT feature. I asked it on the homepage, can you give me a scan? Here's another one we asked for. Can you give me an earnings scan? Certainly. Here's your earnings scan collaboration link. So rather than click it, we'll just copy that address. And we will do a top list this time. If I did an alert, I'd get a heartbeat. So it would tell you that it needs to be really a top list. So there it is. These are all stocks that are up after earnings. I mean, Rum should be on here. By the way, I noticed that when that came through, we've got these hieroglyphics there. Just remember, you can go to properties and make sure it says text headers. And that way we can see a bit more. There we go. Change from the close. So you could sort by that. All of these have had earnings recently or earnings coming up. sure. Let's see. That should be the ones I just sent you. Hang on a second. That's not going to work. Let's go back. It's super simple. All I have to do is go back, and I've got my query from the first one. Here's the momentum scan, so I can copy link address. I'll drop that in the chat for Dylan and whoever else wants it. Why is, oh, it's too long. It's the collaboration links are they're too long. What if I click that? Even if I click that, it's going to take me to a link that's too long. Therefore, Dylan, I would invite you. I'm sorry I can't send that. Cloud links are shortened, and they've been like configured in a different way. But the collaboration links are different from the cloud links. So I would invite you, Dylan, to come to our homepage here, tradeideas.com. First question I asked was create a scan to find momentum. Second question I asked was, can you give me a earnings scan? And then watch this. I'll give you one more, Dylan. The third button that I created was I call it a 5-minute. I think, what did I call it? Hang on, I want to make sure I know what that was. 5-minute reversal. I'll actually copy and paste from my other screen here. Create a scan for 5-minute reversals. Okay, there you saw it shortened the collaboration link into a basic one URL. So we'll just copy that URL. And this time, I've got to reset my connection. This time we'll go back and scan. We'll open a new alert window and we'll get 5-minute reversals. Now, I did create these scans. Somebody had to create them, so I created them. And let's go to a 5-minute time frame. Looky that. Look at that. That's a beauty. The blue arrow signifies the time of the click here on BR. So we got a possible 5-minute reversal. Looky at that. That's a nice one too. Dylan, here's what I can do though. I'll send you the cloud link. Once I've got it opened, I can certainly drop the cloud link. That's a good one. I'm kind of proud of that one. So I'll drop that one in the chat window for anybody who wants that. Let's look under the hood, see what I did to create this. It's pretty simple. A 5-minute high is a 5-minute high, but it has to be above, the prior candles. So we have 5 down consecutive candles followed by a 5-minute high. There you go. It's as simple as that. And so we're trying to move towards, Trade Ideas helping you guys configure these in a much easier fashion rather than having to learn, the syntax of going into the config window. So again, if you're just joining us, very soon we're going to have the GPT window right here. And what I've been showing are some examples here. I just asked the GPT to configure a 5-minute reversal for me. And then the last one that I created, again, I'm showing you just the buttons, but also the functionality. This is what's going to work. Morning gap scan. Say, please, you be nice to the GPT. Unlike Dan. Dan likes to reprimand it. Okay, here comes you saw that it was typing out the actual collaboration string, but it just condensed it. Morning gap scan. Copy link address from that. And the gap scan is going to be a top list. So we'll just go new top list. Ta-da. So these are all the stocks that opened up with a gap. We saw DJT open with a strong gap. And then you can sort these however you wish. Again, I wish I had done that previously, but I'm not going to go back and backtrack. These hieroglyphics here, you can just change those to properties, text, and there you go. And then, of course, if you have anything that you like that you've brought open from the GPT, I also put it well, let's do this. Let's take a look here. how to edit the scan. I'm going to ask you, how do I edit the scan? Or how do I edit a scan? And there's the video that I made yesterday. So the concept is, okay, you've just opened up this morning gap scan, or more importantly, maybe you opened up that 5-minute reversal scan. Well, maybe you'd like to see things that are more to your liking. For example, something's got to be above VWAP, or it's got to be below VWAP. So you could add that filter. So the how do I edit the scan will also be a pre-typed button that I showed you will show up here in the config windows, just to try and get people started and using this. And then so you guys are welcome to do that right now. I basically just take you to a video that gives you the nuts and bolts and the basics if you're a new user on how to configure, add or delete, take things away from a scan that the GPT gave you as a starting point. Even though DGT gapped up, it's not very happy. Let's take a look at my positions. All good there in the front for the most part. I'll tell you something. What I noticed about Tesla, it was so oversold, and it that pro gap yesterday helped it. Like I said, you get a position where you got a lot of people on the wrong side of the lifeboat. The shorts are leaning short. I heard there was a lot of put buying out there, 200 puts they're having to cover. And then you have a lot of people that want to just go long and pick maybe a nice, really good opportunity, 50% pullback in Tesla from 500 to 250. So you don't get very deep pullbacks. You get very shallow pullbacks. And when that happens, it never hurts to, I'm going to zoom in, it never hurts to pop in the actual VWAP, because all the institutional money out there, they're all playing the same game. You can use an anchored VWAP like Brian Shannon does, but all of these institutional orders who are trying to establish a long in Tesla, they're going to be holding the market makers accountable to how close the VWAP is my average price at the end of the day. So if we just add that, I know that if we get down here to 276, the buyers should step back in if there are still buy orders in this thing. What market makers do not want to do is start loading up for their clients at these levels. They're supposed to buy as close as they can to the volume weighted average price on the day. So when the price gets too far ahead of it, it'll drift back, and that should hold. But in the bigger picture, this should be holding all day, in my opinion, as people are covering and whatnot. Yes, that is one of the plans, Dylan. That is one of the plans, and quite honestly, let's do something here. I want to show you guys something. I'm going to. Oh, that's why it looks funny to me. It's a 5-minute. I'm not used to that. There we go. I'm going to put. Give me a second to finish my thought. I'm going to put the VWAP back on here. It'll be the same price. It doesn't matter. As it stands right now, let me do this. I'm going to close this. I'm going to take this Tesla chart. I've got some data up here as well. Volume and moving averages. I'm going to screen grab this, and I'm going to drop it, not into our GPT, mind you, but GPT as it is. I have a plus version. I think as long as you have over 4.0 or 4.5, I can't remember, but here we go. So we're going to take my GPT, start a new session. Can you analyze a stock daily chart for me? Okay, look at that, asking for it. All right, well, here you go. So ChatGPT can read charts now. Don't know if you were aware of this. So basically, all we have to do, Dylan, is kind of incorporate what's already out there into trade ideas, but that doesn't preclude you from doing what I'm doing right here. So it's basically identifying the moving averages. It's a bit off. These are SMAs, and that's a 10, not an 8. Look at that. It's giving us immediate support resistance. What does this mean? Let's take it a step further. So if for a buy signal on this chart, how would I configure this scan? Okay, they're recommending maybe some moving average crossovers, volume confirmation. We live in a crazy time, you guys. I can't even keep up. It's moving so fast. And now Grok is free, Dylan. Grok probably could do the same thing for. However, you can't upload. I think the upload is where they get you on the freemium. When you start uploading images and things and documents, that's where you got to shell out, some subscription money, I think. But that's pretty impressive, huh? I mean, that goes close to what you were saying. Analyze specific data from symbols. I mean, this is much better than a stock like this. With stocks like this, all we did was plug in a program to time and day. Yeah, it is well worth the cost. I solve at least one problem a day, from a problem on my pet cat to my golf swing to why is there no sound in Chrome on Help Scout. I can't. I mean, we're getting to a point where I almost believe like I can't believe we lived without it for all these years, but it's pretty impressive. So the bottom line is, if you pay for some GPT, you can upload charts and they will break down the charts for you. So at some point, Dylan, we will probably incorporate this type of technology into, what we're doing, starting, in the next version. As I said, I just created the GPT buttons, and it'll probably be a new accessibility to really open up some more stuff right there, because that's really where it should be. So that's the next iteration, rather than having to ask people to go back to our homepage to utilize it for scan help. This rum is so volatile. Once earnings came out, you can see what an earnings will do. It's like plucking a rubber band or a guitar string, one of my bass strings. It has to kind of reverberate and slowly find itself back to normal stasis. But all I'm concerned with is my rum and its volatility oscillation is making higher highs at the moment. So that's all I care about. All right, so that was pretty cool. How it can analyze. Let's have GPT analyze my Rumble chart. And if some of you guys haven't seen this, I'm sure it's blowing your mind, because when I first saw it, it blew mine. There is a new chart. I know I screwed up. Here's the image. So it's identifying the very strong relative volume. It's above the 80 MA. It likes that. How to scan for a setup like this. I mean, I started using GPT like about 7-8 months ago, and it's now, in that period of time, it's just evolved so much. It's giving us syntax for formulas, logic. It'll ask follow-up questions. So, brave new world. Absolutely mind-blowing. All right. I think we're caught up on questions. I'm happy to look at charts when people have a chart they want to look at, but I will give you the unbiased truth sometimes. So if it's in a downtrend, I'm going to let you know. But God, some of these things I had to sell this morning, I just didn't feel like sitting through these. That's not getting back to anytime soon. Great. All right. Niv Top, what's up? MBLY, Mobileye. So really good gap up. Did they have any news? Big position, maybe that might have been the news. Gap. Oh, it's a gap down. Anyway, good looking gap. Got way ahead of itself on the open. So let's look left, shall we? We're technically still in an intermediate downtrend in terms of the 200-day. So this was a nice shot across the bow, whatever this news was. Probably got a lot of people short covering that were hoping for it to go lower. But this is your main nemesis right here. You've got, in the next few days, you've got to get above this declining 200-day moving average to start making this chart turn around. You can see that. I mean, the 200-day moving average got a hold of this thing back in 24, the summer of 24, and hasn't really let it go since. But now you've got a good head start. So intraday, you're above the 130, which is the 5-day moving average. That's a big plus. And you're also riding some momentum here. You're still in momentum with this green spike. Like all systems are go for another attempt to get above. So what's going to happen if this stock gets above and starts posting closes below 1750, 18, then technically it might be a change of direction and a trend reversal. So you're kind of in the middle of trying to see if that will materialize. Again, this is like when you get such a good price in a stock, you hate to sell it because your ego wants to look back and say, oh yeah, I picked this thing up at 231 or 241, excuse me. CMB, I'm reading your thing. I got to kind of overlay it with my knowledge of what I know we have and don't have. You're welcome. Has a year to date week to date, year to date plus component, like say the top 25 movers for the week. Okay, so we can't break down by the week, but we can. Well, let me just think. Let's take a look here. When in doubt, the best thing to do is to go to our config window and search. This is our library right here. So I'll start adding key terms. So 5-day range would be a week. So 5-day change is something we might be able to work with. Percent. Okay, we also have position in 5-day range. You don't necessarily want that. Let's open this for a second. Let's take a new, or let's actually ask GPT and see if we can get something. Please create a scan. I'm going to use the word collaboration just so it knows it wants a collaboration for the stocks that have shown greatest gains over 5-day in percent. Let's see if it's able to give me. I'm not sure. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so it's not doing it. I'm going to tell you why. It's not doing it because I didn't program it to do it. The little example I went through earlier, again, was to create four preset buttons that will give those scans directly. Now, they're directing you to come here. I don't have a specific link. So let's ask for how would I know how I would, but I'm going to see if this knows how it can direct me to. How do I create a scan for the top 5-day percentage gainers? Let's see if it gives me. Okay, so a bit more syntax in this case. Open your Trade Ideas platform and navigate, which we did. Look for change in 5 days, which I did. Okay, so very basic, very generic, but let's continue. So new, top list window. Go to our library. Change in 5 days, percent. I'm going to add that filter. Now, I would think that in a change in 5-day percent, our minimum value, I mean, it's going to have to be a minimum of 25%. Let's just see what it gives us. There's our average daily volume, stocks 1 to 5. There's not really much else we need to do. So let's hide the unused. There's a simple version. And we can call it 5-day leaders. Let's launch it. Now we've got a lot of stuff going on here. So here's what I'm going to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to change. We're going to sort by change in 5 days, which should be in there. But let's go back to configure. Let's. I don't need relative volume. I don't need volume today. I don't need position and range, but I do need the change in 5-day. Go this direction. I'm going to just highlight it here in the library, and I'm going to click show column. That way we get a column. Now we have a column that I can sort by. Double click. Okay, so we're kind of backing into it here, MB, and I can take that column out too if we don't want. But what we've got here is a sorted ascending from the top. So what I would do is you ask for the top 25. We go record count, 25, and there's the top percentage change in 25 days. Let me clean this up a little bit. I'm going to take out that volume today. Sort by change in 5 days. Okay, we're highlighting the change in 5 days, and we'll just give it a simple template. Okay, those are all going to be pretty solid. Doesn't matter. So what this did was, MB, this basically is just a simple scan saying MLGO in the last 5 days is up 294. So I'm going to give this to you as an idea, and you can kind of expand from there. And there is the cloud, MB Miller, if you wanted to load something like that. That would give you the ability to compare the top 25 week to date percentage change. Cool, I'm glad that works. Now, of course, we could do something like, you could right click and say duplicate strategy. And then we could change that configure away from 5 days And let's see what we get. Most we can go. Oh, there it is, change in 1 year. Let's add that instead. Let's use like a value of 50 for the minimum. Boom, now you've got a change in the year. We'll qualify that. 1 year. Yeah, so I'm trying to back into 1 year here. So year to date, these are going to just go back exactly 1 year. And this thing, NAC, is up the most in 1 year. I need to get rid of that change in 5 days, though. First, I'm going to add the column, change in 1 year percent, add column. Okay. And then change in 5 days, get rid of that column. Look at that. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to drop both of these for you now. Here comes the change year to date, most sorted out, top 25. It should be the top 25. Yep. 25 names only. And I already gave you the other one. So, yeah, this will give you something to play with. You see what MB's doing here, everybody? He's taking advantage of our time to come in and really save some steps and some learning curve and, let us kind of give you something to work with and a foundation to start with. And hopefully I just saved him a lot of time and effort to zero in and circle around what it is he wants to look at. You can see the power of our software. It might not be visually appealing unless you're living in 2005 here, but we're working on that with our dashboards and such. But the power is there to reverse engineer and back yourself into what you want. Yes, I did save time. So I'm trying to encourage others maybe to do what you did. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, for 1 hour. Barry takes a break. Barry's not able to really devote this kind of time to help new users. He'll help you with trading and talk to you about his trading. But when somebody comes in and says, "Hey, how do I do this?" If it can be done, we'll try and do it for you here during this hour and share it with you. All right, I'm going to release those into the ether. Take a look at the market. I forgot. In 6 minutes, my Southwest alarm is going to go off to check into my flight tomorrow. Hold on a second. Yeah, hang on. Let me get my. I gotta get my stuff ready here, so I can check in exactly when the alarm goes off. Bear with me here. I'll come back to that. Let's see. Somebody said, oh, David, did you see JC's massive about Tesla? You're saying the same thing about it, basically. No, I didn't, but I respect JC. I know him. I've met him. I've partied with him. Had some beers with him. I mean to say, good guy, smart guy. Skied with him actually. Same place I'm going to tomorrow, but he's not going to be there this time. I didn't know he said that. I'm glad we saw the same thing. It just felt really, really overdone. And it's not just about electric cars. I've said this before. He's building massive AI centers, and the AI is learning from the cars. It's being uploaded into Optimus. The Optimus robot, you guys, I think 5 years from now, a lot of people are going to own them. It's like the price of a new car. You're going to have some Optimus in the garage folding your laundry for you. Can we build a strategy on divergence? I'll try, Tom. I don't think I can build one, but we do have, I saw there, a divergence, less stochastics. Let me show you something. We can't build it, but you can sort through something that has been built already. The divergence requires a lot of extra math. And while we were lucky enough to have Michael Noss with us, he built a lot of the math into this Market Explorer. So you go to New Market Explorer, and there's a whole bunch of stuff under this hood right here. So you would right click. Now, the strategy is going to show there's going to be one particular. I know there's one that's going to have some divergence in here. So just let me see if I can find it. There it is, right up top. So daily RSI divergence long, daily RSI divergence short. Unable to get overbought. So, daily, let's go with daily divergence long. Okay, we've executed this list. Now the math has already been done, so we can't create something. But, if I was to come over here, Thomas, and we add, let's add some RSI. We start clicking through here, we're going to start seeing some bullish divergence. There it is. It's just one example right off the bat. And so you can find some examples of bullish divergence down here at these levels. Might be a good play with the market doing what it's doing right now. Whoops. You saw what I did there. But if you didn't catch it, I don't think they're going to have 5 minute, but let me just see. I don't think it's going to have a 5 minute. It's going to be daily. Yeah, they're all going to be dailies. That's as close as we can get. Sorry about that. Oh, there's my alarm. I'm going to reset that alarm so I can just get this. I know Southwest Airlines isn't going to do this anymore. Start making people pay for seats, but until they're doing it, they got to play the game. So when that alarm goes off, I can check in and play the ADD game and see if I can get an A letter. Guys, I'll be here another 10 minutes or so. I've got a meeting after this. So I usually have to sign off about 5 minutes till. But yeah, I'm going on vacation tomorrow for 3 days, going skiing. So I'm not going to take a lot home. I don't want to have to worry about managing a portfolio, even though this might be the time to just load up on some things that have been oversold. I'm going to probably keep Tesla. I like this trade a lot. And I wanted to get into rum. I wanted to wait for earnings. I like the way it's trading. again, you can see literally earnings this morning. It was like you just snapped a rubber band. That's the volatility of the market, making algos back and forth, working the orders that are coming in after big volatility, big relative volume, etc. All right, guys, and anybody else have any other questions or a chart you want me to look at? I mean, I've got limited time coming up, but I don't want to get too involved. But I mean, I'm just really happy to be able to help MB there with those scans. That's what this hour is all about. These gold mining stocks have just been brutal. Absolutely brutal. You have to take them when you get them on the open. I do think something's coming with gold and silver, possibly maybe an attempt to back our currency with gold and silver. And I think that's kind of out of the bag. And that's the reason there's been a lot of strength in gold, been a lot of repatriation of gold, people calling their gold physical due. If they've leased it out or whatnot, it's been flying all over the world. People are bringing it back to their country. I think that's a pretty good signal of what's probably coming, because the fiat dollar that they created in 1913 is about 3% of what it was now. We've lost so much value in this stupid fiat system, this Federal Reserve system, where they can print money out of thin air and then charge interest on it. That's not money. That's monopoly. So hopefully that's coming to an end. I hope so. You know, again, if you haven't played with the GPT on our homepage, highly recommended. It's kind of inconspicuously, if you collapse it, it's right there. B25. That was right on the money too. Southwest Airlines. All right, I'm all checked in. Mentally, I'm getting checked out here because I'll be on vacation for a few days. But guys, 5 minutes or so, if you have any charts or anything you want to look at, I'm here. These quant stocks just couldn't do anything this morning. They're still under pressure. ARQQ. Nope. IONQ. Nano nukes couldn't get out of their own way. But Tesla, they're still buying. Tesla and Rum. That's all I got. That's all I feel comfortable leaving town with. I'll let the cash build up and I'll be back next Monday. Market's not giving much back. Doesn't want to give too much back. So it just tells me I think a lot of the shorts, they really got caught leaning down there. A lot of times these pro gaps that I mentioned, they can be built upon. You can look back and they can do stuff. You just got to be in the right stocks though. I think it'll be a giant victory today if the SPY can clear and close back above the 200-day. Look how close NVIDIA was to what they laugh and they call this the death cross. You guys have all heard that. The 50 crossing below the 200 in NVIDIA. Oh no. Well, sometimes that can just be an absolute head fake, contrarian indicator. NVIDIA, it actually doesn't look bad. So if it gets back up there, so much for the death cross. Real quick, all I had to do was do this. It's probably what I guarantee you. This is what JC saw, because JC loves his weekly charts. As soon as I pulled this up, I said, "This is trade of the week." I mean, I had already bought it, but as soon as I saw that, that's about as clear as you can make a weekly candle from 490 down to 212. 2 Fridays in a row, you've got reversals going into the weekend with a bottoming tail. This was a no-brainer to call the trade of the week for me. So I guarantee you that's what JC was seeing and salivating as well. And when you see something like that, you can start using words like generational low. And that's why I don't want to sell Tesla. I don't. Honestly, I don't. I truly believe that what's coming with AI, and he's already proven with Grok that he can run circles around the other AI companies, in my opinion. And what's coming with Optimus, there's about 12 or so different robot frames out there. And if you don't follow Brian Rommel, he is excellent at AI. He's been doing it his whole life. And he basically just said he's going to write an article on it, but he's done a complete research breakdown on all the robots out there. And as far as software, AI, intelligence, and hardware, mobility, the Tesla Optimus is going to just run circles around everybody. It is gorgeous. That's chart porn right there, David. Those two bottoming weekly tweezers at the 200-day. I mean, you go all in. And I kind of did, not all in, but I got a good position. Rommel, I'll type his name. Let me do this. I will bring you his handle before I say goodbye here. No, that's not what I wanted. Hold on. All right, let me drop you with him. You want to follow this guy. This guy is on the cutting edge of technology. All right, with that, everybody, I got to run. Pleasure. I'll see you next week on Monday. Take it easy.